All right. So, this is interesting, right? I've covered this before, right? I think there is still a Warner Brothers sale going on right now. I think. Let me just double check. Which means all like Warner Brothers games are on sale. Yeah, it looks like it is. Yep, still. And despite that, despite having just a brand new expansion come out on Steam, because Steam's a pretty good metric because it tells you accurately, there are currently only 1,246 people playing Mortal Kombat 1. Right? This is at 4 o'clock in the afternoon on Australian time. I'm sure those numbers will go up because a lot of the Americans are probably going to sleep, perhaps. But in saying that though, Mortal Kombat 11 has 3,403 people playing right now. 1,246, 3,403. Over double. Sorry, almost over double. Let me just double check. Got to get the math right. Right? Got to get the math right. What is it? 1, 2, 4, 6. Yes. Yes. So Mortal Kombat 11 has 2,157 more players right now for MK11 over MK1. Does anyone want to explain that? Right? Or, you know, are we going to have some more shillery going on? Right? This is why people that aren't being genuine or shills or you know, try to silence other people that have legitimate concerns that we've seen in the community for a long time, because eventually it catches up. Also, old saying, if you wait by the river long enough, the bodies of your enemies will eventually float by. Well, it's a simple case of this. We now have both of these games on sale. Naturally, MK11 will be cheaper. However, we have seen over the course of this year, MK11 still holding strong with its fan base. Right? Now, I can't stand this game. Right? Like, I don't think NRS know how to make Mortal Kombat anymore. Right? These just don't feel like MK games. They feel like something else, and it's a mod called Mortal Kombat. However, Mortal Kombat 11 definitely felt like an actual full game, right? It didn't feel like what MK1 kind of felt like a mobile game, right? I didn't like so let me be clear. I like the aesthetics and the way that the crypt was designed aesthetically and the way you move through it and the traps and things. What I didn't like is the whole, you know, loot box mechanic where you could go through the entire crypt, unlock everything, but you won't have everything. You gotta spend money to then reset everything, then go through it and grind it again. I'm sorry, but that's just a waste of time. If you're gonna do that, you do what they did with Towers of Time and just put gear on that and that, you know, be done with it, right? Wasted opportunity with the crypt not coming back in the way it was in MK11 to MK1, but in a much more open world environment with quests and playing with other people, that sort of thing. So the fact that this game right now has more players, right? It's not free, you gotta pay for it still, over MK1 is abysmal. And we've seen that, like I said, over the course of the year, that MK11 has been not only going toe-to-toe, but even beating MK1, right? Because I think people have finally caught up to a lot of the writing on the wall when it comes to NetherRealm and Mortal Kombat games. They're not very good at making them, right? Their direction, their philosophy and game design has changed, right? Ed Boon, it seems like he's just bored of the whole thing, right? That's why he was so excited to do the Injustice games. Personally, I would be offering any amount of dollars and cents you could to John Tobias and give him Mortal Kombat again. Let him pick his team, right? And let him take charge. Because then at the very least, the story will be amazing. We don't have to have balanced gameplay. Mortal Kombat in the old days was never balanced. It was just a fun fighting game. But what strength the Mortal Kombat did have was, for me personally, was a lot of the storytelling. you know, the way that you know, they crafted the characters, and it felt like a very sort of very grounded experience, if you will, with what was crafted by John Tobias and the other guys at Midway, right? But the fact that MK11 has more, I think, is a testament. It's a testament because MK11, you're still going to be able to find people to play online. There's a lot more content in the game to play, right? To some people, it might be better characters to choose from, right? They might prefer some of the stages over the other ones. It all comes down to personal preference. But the amount of content in general there is more content. More content, less grind, right? Even Combat League is better. I've covered this before in a video. Even Combat League is better in MK11. Now, I can't stand both of these games because they just feel so detached from what made MK, right? But at least here, like, we still got the Deadpool. At least they're sort of doing a throwback to some older stages. I did like the arcade stages that they put in MK11. Where you had, like, the arcade machines in the background. You have different backgrounds showing up on, like, a big drop screen, you know, of the classic games. That was kind of cool. Right? Personally, if I was in charge of Mortal Kombat, I'd bring back every stage in a 2D way. Every stage would have a stage fatality. I would bring back every character, do away with gear pieces and just have skins, and just have some fucking fun. I'd give every character a minimum of 10 special moves. Imagine the crazy shit you could do. None of this flying around the air crap either. We have a very small window of maximum, like, damage you can do in a single setting, so that way it feels fair. Put in a whole bunch of good defensive options, and off we go. The problem with Mortal Kombat is that they tried to make it competitive. And that was NRS's scene, even with MK9, because even MK9, I think they brought in people to help with that. I think it was the biggest mistake of all time, was to try and turn this franchise that is essentially a party game and something you should be having for fun and mucking around into this, you know, esports crap. Because look at the way the community's behaved. Right? You get OGs like me and Total MK and a whole bunch of others who have been there since the beginning that just want Mortal Kombat to be great again. We want Mortal Kombat to feel like Mortal Kombat and not some, you know, horror-themed game where they pimp out guest characters because Warner Brothers needs to sell some dollars. Right? That's all it is. It's not because these characters make sense to the universe. Because they're pimping out their other franchises. Right? And we had this in MK11, not as, I don't think as much. How many guest characters were in MK11? Is it more? Does MK1 have more now, or is it the same? I think it's either the same or it's more, right? Fucking obsession with Joker too. I just don't understand that. This is so stupid, right? Oh, and no guest characters ever again. Ever. See how easy it is to make Mortal Kombat great again, right? You just need to give. And, like, exactly what most of us OG fans have been screaming for. You guys will still play Mortal Kombat. Don't get it twisted. You're not going to sit there and cry because you don't have some fucking, you know, woke ideology in there. You're not going to cry because the titties are out and the chicks look hot and you got 1,000 special moves and it's all crazy stuff. Nobody's going to cry. Nobody's going to stop playing Mortal Kombat. You want to know why? Because guys like me and Total MK and thousands upon thousands upon thousands of you out there who paid for the original OG games, be it through the 2D or the 3D era. Not that I was a big fan of the 3D combat, but still. You guys put Mortal Kombat on the map, right? And from what I understand, it wasn't Mortal Kombat that caused Midway to go bankrupt. It was everything else they were working on. So Mortal Kombat was still profitable, from what I've read and understand and been told, right? So, you know, what they need to do is they need to give MK to people that love it. If you really want to be competitive, I'm sure you'll figure out a way. People used to compete in tournaments with Mortal Kombat all the way back to the 2D games, right? The difference is, though, is that it wasn't viewed as this, like, esports elite level type of game, right? It's a fun game, or it used to be, right? And I think a lot of the reason, too, why people go back to MK11, apart from the fact that it feels like a complete product, is just, like I've said, the content. There's so much content for you to work towards, all the gear pieces for the characters, the amount of customization and stuff. There's a lot there, including some characters like even have got Rain on screen. which weren't completely bastardized like an MK1 and turned into a stupid ass mage with a stick. I mean, maybe he was a mage in this one, I can't remember. But at least he didn't have a fucking stick running around. Anyway, guys, I'll leave it there. Let me know what you think. Catch you next time.